Well, we've had some very cold nights, and it's supposed to be very cold tonight, so we're setting up for the chickens to help keep them warm. Don't know that that's really needed, but makes us feel better anyway. Give them a little heat lamp. Hi, girls. This is about the brightest it's been when I've gone out in the mornings to work on the house this last week, the darkest time of the year. I'm Jeremy. Welcome to our farm, Cornucopia Orchards. So with this guy drying, my next step is basically to get the part that's going to connect into this right here installed up there. And I have had to take out a piece of the drywall I put in, which would have had to come out anyway in order to make that work. I'll show you. So as mentioned, this is just a tight space, and I have 17 and minus inches in this stack here. And I have essentially got 17 and a half inches of clearance. So I had to cut that to flat, and we'll get this piece pushed back in a second here. And hopefully that will line up just the way it's supposed to, and the measurements all come out, and I'll get that installed. It's not gonna be pleasant, but I should be able to kind of get in there from the top and goop anything on the inside that's hard to reach from the outside. It's probably gonna be buttered with my hand at this point, but no big deal. So I've done pretty much everything I can to prep here. You can see I've widened this open all the way around, especially on the far side, which is where I'm going to start it. I'm going to lean it in that side and then bring it up through into here. I've got these two straps here that will help hold it. They just get folded in, and then one sheet metal screw goes up through, and that's what this is going to hang off of. And the last thing that I need to do to prep this is I'm going to get some of the sealant, and I'm going to put it in that track all the way around to make sure that I have some sealant on there everywhere. I don't know that there's really a way for me to get into this corner here. And on the far back side, there just isn't much room to work in. And I'm definitely not going to be able to get a good job where I can actually see what I'm doing from the top. So I ended up deciding that that was a very interesting process. There may have been some unfriendly words. Okay, so there were a lot of unfriendly words, and I don't think I can use anything from that video, but let me show you now that it's done, what it looks like and what gave me a problem and caused the said words. So you can see the straps are in, just a screw through the bottom, and those two, plus I just put in a shelf here, which it's looking like may or may not have been a mistake, because when you add that piece and that 1 inch, I thought 1 inch was going to clear the other piece that's going to have to go right in here below. That one for the first floor return might be pushing it. We will see how it goes, but hopefully it will be a nice tight fit and nothing worse. Now that piece up there, okay, so you can see it's all gooped on this side, and I need to go up and goop on the inside, and I'll take you up there and we'll look at it together. So now you can see what was so frustrating. I had to rip this box apart that I had already built in order to be able to get in here. And this corner, do you remember this corner when I built this box? It gave me problems. Well, it did it again. The hardest place to get to, naturally, and I had to have Casey work on it from below, and this side wanted to bow out, and so it didn't want to fit up into the channel. So she pushed, I held it steady, and we got it to slide, and now we're all gravy. But I've got to go through and get that filled with sealant from the inside just to make sure. I mean, I buttered the bottom, but I had to really work at that. So we're going to get that sealed, close this back up, re-screw it, and get this properly sealed. And the only good thing about this is that I had not yet taken off the tape and redone everything in the mastic and the sealant. And so now when I go to put this back together, it'll all be the proper sealant. instead of the tape. Now that this piece is in, I can do a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm super excited about that. So the girls and I are out, and it is the coldest day of the year so far. Not hard to do given we're still early January here, but it is icing, sleeting, snowing, occasionally hailing, and it's one of those weird things, I guess, where the upper atmosphere is warm and the lower atmosphere, the air is cold. And so it's not coming down as snow, even though it's like 20 degrees, maybe 19 degrees out right now. We've got the ladies boarded up. They've got their heat lamp. And even though it's snowy out there, they seem to be doing just fine. They've got their winter stuff on. It's the first year in several years where we haven't had animals beyond just the chickens to take care of in the wintertime. And 2 years ago, we had pigs, goats, and chickens. And then last year we had pigs and chickens, and now it's just the chickens. And hopefully this coming year, maybe we'll get some cattle again. It's been a while. And this place just hasn't had the facilities for it yet. But I think one steer raised specifically for a butcher would be fine, even before we have a barn proper. Power's been off and on all morning, but we're very glad that the power company's linemen have been out. I mean, the first time it went out, they had it on again in about 15 minutes. So they're ready for this. And as much as we have not cared in general for the power company as a whole, we've had some issues with them during the build. The linemen have always been fantastic. Their crews are great. We've met a number of the people who work on the crews, and they're all just everything they should be. You know, they respond quickly, they work hard, they do good work. And, you know, when it took however many months, it took 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, I think, to get power to the property, even though we already had power lines and power poles running through. The office just didn't prioritize us. It took forever for them to get a quote done that we could sign. The lineman had it done once that was passed through the manager's desk. They had it done in like 2 weeks.
Can you reach that? No. Okay, well, then let's try the other side. I want unload it.
Well, the attempt was made just to see how the driveway felt, and with this very slick, crunchy ice, not snow, Casey didn't make it very far, even with all-weather tires. So we just decided that, you know, her work would be fine without us today. And she never calls in, so about due for one, which means I get an extra day on the house. A little bit of a cold day for it, but certainly still very pretty out. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Alright.
So it's not all the way back in the cardboard?
Yeah. Should we slide the cardboard out at this point?
How are you going to do that?
That's a very good question.
How are you going to get back into there, or are you going to lift from the front like I was saying?
Well, I can do either one. I can kind of just squeeze in here. I think I can lift, but then you can't squeeze your arm around there.
I can get far enough down to get that. And it's just a matter of, do I rip these pants or not?
Yeah. I don't think that's a good idea.
I'm okay.
Well, I'm not though. I don't think that's a good lifting position for me.
Okay, so are you gonna
I think
lift from
we're
the front?
gonna have to do front and back. How are you going to lift though back there?
I'm gonna lift off the side.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have to lift right there. Man, I wore the wrong pants for this. Right, here.
I just don't have a.
Okay, maybe you take here and I take the front.
Yeah, or I just put my leg in here, which might. Okay, ready?
for a second?
Okay.
Let's just.
Shifting to the handholds. A second.
There's handholds.
Oh, never mind.
Those,
Okay,
are,
so-
not, those are not handholds.
How are we supposed to get it?
One at a time.
Okay.
Right, my corner is where it's supposed to be. Your corner now.
Okay.
Well, that's like. That's what's useful.
Okay.
Not what I wanted, but just slide it to where it aligns. Front and back, gotta come forward. Right there, back a little. Go right there on the back and the front.
Okay, come look at my side and see what you need.
Okay, so we're gonna come this way for you.
Okay.
Oh, too far right. How's that look? I think your corner is.
That looks good to me. Now, it looks kind of like the box kind of went cattywampus on the floor.
It did, which won't matter. I can still move it around.
Okay.
So, what do they have? What's tweaking?
I don't know. Damien?
It sounded vaguely like a camera, and I was like,
Clark, where's your brother go?
he's right here.
Oh. He's just being so quiet.
Yes, he's realized that screws do not hammer, and now he is attempting to screw backwards.
Yep, try switching directions, kiddo.
Okay, I'm gonna tip it,
Okay.
and then just put a big fat bead where you see there isn't any, as much best you can.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
Okay.
Too far back. Got somewhere in there. All the way around the front. Oh, I got it. Start kind of. Get back in there. It was about a third of the way towards the front, so you still get back a little ways. Good, or do you need?
I'm working on it, dear. No, I'm not leaving that a little further.
Pretty darn good. So. So our main unit there is starting to warm up. We're getting ice melt, and our main unit is now ready to dry. That glue will need to dry for several days to make sure that we feel good about it. But the underside of that unit is flat until it gets to that hole, that rectangular hole. So I give this an opportunity to seal it with the caulk, and then we're also going to seal it to that base with Plenum tape. And I feel like that's just a smart idea given that there's no way for us to really attach any screws. But the Plenum tape is a mastic backed tape, so it by itself, it should meet the requirements. However, we want to make sure that the AHJ agrees with that assessment, and they've been very leery of anything other than the adhesives of the mastic by itself. So that's what we're going to do, and now that that's in, give it a couple days to dry, and we can attach on the supply. Before then, we'll probably do the return, but thanks to Hokey Muscles here. So that nice big bead we put on there goes all the way around, and we'll come back, and I'm going to tape just off to right next to, but not messing with this little line here, because this is a filter location. I can install a filter, and it's actually recommended you do 2 filters now. So we'll be able to put one there, and then I should be able, even with everything going on, I think, maybe, to get in and put one in this slot versus just having to seal that. That would be kind of nice, although I don't know, it's going to be awful close. We'll have to see how that goes, because we've got you know, a piece that comes right down through there as well, and there's no way you're going to get it through this side in the back, I don't think. Maybe it's going to be a real pain either way, I think, but 2 filters would be awful nice. Ending another day here. I've only been out here intermittently. It's been pretty cold, and we've got
Couple of these strips put up. Drywall is what that's for. This side's got the crossbars, so I'm not worried about that. Also went up here in the laundry room. It's the equivalent side. You'll notice that all of the other ones, these ones are flush. So that's just the angle from the roof, but it doesn't have a crossbar. And I didn't need it, so I didn't put it in. It didn't make sense to put it in. So that's why we've got this here, and same as that on the other side. And I'm starting to put them in around the house, just wherever I feel like I need one at a junction. So this weird little corner I did here where, because of the way this wall came together, I have a seam, and you can actually see the nails here coming through into this board. And so I just turned, instead of putting multiple more boards, it's already got on the other side a double board, because it's a balloon frame wall, and that is going up to a window, so a jack and a king stud. So what I did here is I just put this on the inside. That one is flipped. Instead of being this way, it's flipped in that way there at the end of the wall, and it's all tied in. And I can still stuff some insulation in there. It'll be compressed, but it's still better than having nothing to secure to. Here's the bathroom. We got a wall that junctions in here, so I've put in these pieces. There's some gaps I may or may not fill. As long as it's mostly there, I'm not super worried about it. This did have one on the interior. You can see I added that one in most of the way up. I went ahead and put this insulation in. It's not stapled if they really get upset. I mean, I did ask for this room, so I'm not worried too much. But I put those two in. And this is two, because I ran out of the 5.5-inch boards, and then I went ahead and scrapped in this corner. So also wired up the boys' lights upstairs. We had done a little revision to that. We'd planned on having it just be a center light. Now it's 4 lights plus a fan, so not a huge deal. A couple of other little stuff that I got done today. It's kind of in that mode where it depends on what's going on, but I'm just trying to knock out just 1,000 small tasks. Casey's been working on speaker wire, and I'll walk you through that once we're a little bit closer to complete on that. And we're just trying to get everything buttoned up on each of the trades ahead of the end of the month, hopefully before February, before my birthday at least. And then we're going to be running the big boxes of HVAC soon. Just gonna wait for a not much nicer day than today. But they're ready. I have that one that's still drying because it's so cold. It's just gonna take some time. And then I built that one as well. And again, still drying. Once those are dried, we can start working on that return. And then we're gonna get the rest of these put in and off my floor and out of the way. And then probably as soon as that happens, that'll free up all that space, then it's gonna get stuffed with insulation. We did also discover and are leaning very strongly towards going ahead and jumping on it. That's out of order, but they shouldn't cost what they cost. It's what we think is a great deal, so hopefully we're right. But we did discover the next purchase that we've been slowly starting to look at. We look at 2 ahead and then start planning, getting the money together and figuring that out. And cabinets. We found some cabinets that, best we can tell, they have no business being the price that they are. And that's before putting them through the bid room with Lowe's. So fingers crossed that we're correct, but it's basically one flavor, one color, and it's the one we wanted, is almost half the price of the others. It doesn't say it's clearance, but maybe it is clearance. And they're available elsewhere on the internet, and they're not that price. So if we can get that order put through now, we're gonna feel like we walked away with a steal of a deal. And if it happens, I'll tell you more about what it is, and we'll do a reveal and all that jazz. But we're gonna build them. So they're RTA cabinets ready to assemble. And now I am freezing, so we're gonna get everything shut down for the night. And I hope you have a great day. We'll see you next time.